Hey everyone, and welcome to 1v1 Me Bro. We are back at it again, and my word, today we've got none other than the ShadyNero joining us, and we have a ton to talk about. Of course, my word, the Huke Slasher, the roster move of the day. This worked out perfectly that we have Rex on here to kind of have a podcast, a rewind today. We'll be talking about that. We're going to go over some of the best moments from COD history, and Rex is going to be going up in the gauntlet to get his name up on the leaderboard with the best of them. And so we have just a ton to go over today, and I am very much excited. Rex, how you doing?
Oh, Josh, I am feeling like a summer breeze in the middle of winter. Things aren't quite making sense. The chaos is ensuing, but there's something quite pleasurable about it.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's gonna be a wild one for sure, to say the least. If you guys are new around here with 1v1 Me Bro, how this goes is basically we're gonna run through a few icebreaker questions first, and we'll get into the name that segment of the show and go from there. So off the rip, icebreaker question. The first one, since this is 1v1 Me Bro, pretty straightforward. To get to know our guests, we go through some of these questions. What is your favorite 1v1 of all time? It could be in Call of Duty, it could be in another esport or another sport. Just in anything and all things, what's your favorite 1v1 that comes to mind?
Man, I mean, when it comes to 1v1s, I think there has to be a one life game. I was really into Overwatch for a while, but so there's not, I guess the 1v1s there aren't quite what they would be like an S&D or CSGO. For sure. I guess the first one that I can think of that I remember was like, and this might be like the peak 1v1, unless I'm missing something. Yeah. But Infinite Warfare, Karma on Optic, and they were playing, it was an S&D, and it got to a round 11.
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was against, but it was like a really long, drawn out.
Yeah,
like
that
everybody was down.
One, right?
Fastball. So it's Karma, Fastball.
Yeah.
And Karma, like, they had no idea where each other was. And you could tell. Karma was on one side of the map, Fastball on the other. Neither of them knew where each other was. And the way Karma was maneuvering around the map, it just showed like he was so confident about it. And like that was just the best 1v1. Karma ended up getting the clutch win on that and got the defuse on the bomb, and it was a round 11.
Yeah.
And it was a very intense moment. For
sure. I mean, I think that's actually the second time that one got mentioned on the show. So there you go. It definitely is going to ring in the minds of the guests. I'd imagine it won't be the last time either. I think I've said this before.
Memorable.
One of the most memorable ones for me was also an Optic one, because I was at the event, but it was CWL Anaheim, and it was Scump v Celium on Frequency in BO4, and like. It was more about the hype of the 1v1 than the actual 1v1 itself, because the fans went nuts, and that's definitely like the loudest I've probably ever heard a venue. So like that was kind of like why. Like,
I can only imagine. Only imagine how loud that would have got.
Oh yeah, and that was nuts. So pretty straightforward. The next question is the classic dinner party question. If you could have 3 currently living people at a dinner party to come hang out with and just talk with and vibe with, who would you want at the dinner party?
Just three people in general, or three esports players?
Anyone in the world.
Man, I mean, this is gonna make me sound like such a fanboy, and I'm sure it's gonna hurt the ears of some people listening, because they're like, how nerdy can this guy be? But Clayster has got to be one of them. I know it is what it is, but like, I don't like.
Oh man!
If there's like, I just like him a lot, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I've liked him since like forever. I've started like a long time.
Like the guy that ushered you into COD in a way. We'll probably talk about that in a little bit too, but yeah.
Right. I mean, he wasn't the one that ushered me in, but he's the one who started, I guess, carrying me forward. And
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Clayster, I guess, one of them. Is it living right now, you said?
It could be anyone, literally in any field, like actors, musicians, celebrities, role models, whoever.
And they have to be living, right?
Yeah, living.
Okay. I think Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh, really?
An actor. I don't know him, but he was in this movie called My Left Foot. He was also in, is it called The Silk Thread or The Silver Thread? It's recently came out. He's just one of those, like, I love acting. I love good acting. One of my guilty pleasures, like I just love watching acting scenes, just good acting scenes.
Acting compilations?
Yeah, really, just watching
yeah.
acting compilations. So for sure him, just because he's just goated. Like he's just like a mystical being, I feel like, in the acting universe. He doesn't do a lot of stuff, but the stuff he does is always like, it's art. It's pure art. And then after that, in the past, I would have said somebody like Eminem.
Okay.
I don't know if I would say that anymore. I mean, Johnny Depp, probably.
Oh man, what a goat. Yeah.
He is. Johnny Depp's one of those people that I gotta meet him. I just want to be able to put a finger on
I couldn't even
him.
imagine what a dinner party with Johnny Depp would even be like. Would he even talk? Like, I don't.
Dude,
like,
he doesn't have to talk. I'll just ask him questions and he can respond how he responds. I just want to like get his vibe, like
the aura
in person
of Johnny Depp.
I just want to get the aura and see who is this guy. Because he's like a magical being in my mind. Like just the way he plays a character is he's very interesting just to watch.
I love that one. I've been trying to give a different 3 every single time. So this time I'm going to say Dan Reynolds, the lead singer for Imagine Dragons, just because he has like a crazy life story. And then I'll say Randy Moss. And
okay.
And then I'll go with Paul Pierce.
Wow.
As those 3.
Two athletes.
Two athletes.
You just want to eat with them? Or you have any questions you want to talk to them about?
Questions. Oh my word, yes. There's so much I'd love to talk with them about. But those are 3 guys I would love to have dinner with.
Right. I mean, also a president, like literally, like Obama,
any president.
Sure.
Any
Throw
president.
in a president, like just because the president. Just
why
what's
wouldn't you
been
want to
going
talk
on
to
here,
him?
man?
Literally, I want to know about the aliens. Let me know right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so now next question is, what movie have you watched the most in your life? Which is very relevant to the acting side of things here.
Oh my.
What movie have you watched the absolute most?
I mean, I've watched a lot of movies. I think the movie that comes to my mind that when I was younger, it was like the movie I would always put on when I go to sleep. I don't know if it's the one I watched the most. I definitely watched it a lot, just for like every night, just like the movie I would put on. Because the first time I watched it, I was just like, I don't know, something about it really touched my feelings.
Okay.
It was How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, something about that movie just like speaks to my soul. Like I just, like the first one, like I've
never seen it.
The first one was great. And then like, I didn't really watch the other ones. I didn't get as into them, but the first one, like when I first watched it, just something about it just like spoke to me. And I just like watched it every single night when I was going to sleep.
That's incredible. I absolutely love it. And then the last question that I normally been doing 3, but I kind of want to throw in this 4th one here is, if you had to survive on a desert island with 3 Call of Duty personalities, who would you choose to be with you?
Survive on a desert island with 3 personalities?
3 COD personalities, yeah.
Clayster.
Okay. Given. What needs to get down the island?
I mean, you want to be around people that you like, and you know, and I obviously he has more, I feel like, of a, he's an older guy. And
life experience.
He's got life experience. He's not going to be doing some crazy, like, I don't know what else to call it, like emotional, weird stuff.
Yeah.
He's going to be more like, let's figure this out sort of thing. So I think Clayster, I think the maturity level with it. Give me Scump.
Okay.
Why? I think Scump is just like like everyone in the league could be a good guy, but Scump obviously is a very notable name. And from what I've seen of him, he seems like a very, a genuinely good guy.
What's his role on the deserted island?
So signing roles. I mean,
well, I mean, you got to survive on the deserted island. So what's Scump bringing to the table here? You know.
I mean, I guess for Scump,
he's gathering the berries.
Yeah, he can. He's going to be more of like a support system of some kind. He's going to be the one learning our first aid.
Okay.
He's going to, you know, put on our splints of sticks and collecting wood and things like that.
All right, who's the 3rd one?
The 3rd one, I got to take people who I feel like can handle themselves out in this environment.
I mean, there's a lot of responsibility here. You know, you're trying to survive.
Here's the thing. I feel like Crimsix is a very obvious answer that people pick.
Oh man, that'd be beefy.
But the reason I'm not taking him is because Crimsix feels like a guy who he's gonna get too involved with it, where he's gonna get paranoid. that he's gonna, now we're on this island trying to survive, he's gonna start moving to this paranoid mindset.
Right, life's on the line here, you know?
And he's gonna be like, you know what? To survive, guys, we have to eat one of our own. And it's gonna be like, hold up, you know? And I feel like he might jump to that conclusion faster than maybe he should.
Yeah,
so that's
I can see that.
He's gonna
that's
have
really
the
true.
knowledge to do what he needs to do, but he's the guy who's also gonna pull the trigger the fastest when someone has to get eaten or whatever it is. And he freaks me out in that way because he can be a wild card. And so that's the reason I'm not taking Crimsix on this journey with us. I need someone, I mean, Huke, he's pretty smart, right?
He is.
So I think of him as a very intelligent person. He's someone, obviously his video just came out, which I'm sure we're probably going to talk about.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like he also has an ability to have a level head in stressful situations.
Okay.
So I think he's another person I'd like to bring along with us.
I think that's a solid group. You guys, I'll give you guys 27 days in the wilderness. You know, that's a pretty good number as a whole, I think. So there you go. I love it.
We would last longer than 27 days. Are you kidding me?
You're building a civilization, man.
Oh yeah.
I love it. So with that said, now we can head into our first Name That segment, which I'm definitely hyped for. So obviously how this goes is basically for each different segment, there's gonna be different points totals for what you guess. So the first thing is a COD history moment, and you get 50 points for naming the game, 50 points for naming the event, 50 points for naming both teams that are involved in the moment, and then 50 points if you can describe the actual play to a T. And it basically goes from there. So pretty straightforward. Do your best. It's not easy. People have been struggling so far, and I think you can definitely come out on top. You know, we'll see what happens, but it's
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure I even remember what the directions are, but let's try it.
All right, perfect. Okay, so here it is. This is going to be the first moment, and we'll run it through. It's about like 20 seconds long or so, and we'll see what happens. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's get it.
Play near me. Let's go. No, they can still win. Play ball. All of you. Throw it out right away. They're going white. Full weight. Throw out to you. Full weight. Just run away. Go to the peg. On the peg, oh wait. One more cat. Fucking go. They fucking choke so hard.
There you go. Does anything ring a bell?
Yeah, I mean, at first I thought you were playing that Scump clip, I'm the best in the game.
Oh, it does kind of sound like that, yeah.
But I did not hear that, and that's exactly where my mind was heading the whole time, just waiting for it. He said top cat. That sounded like they said the ball, so that's uplink. I think I heard JCap's voice. They choked top cat. I'm thinking Black Ops 3, or it could be Infinite Warfare, but I'm gonna say Black Ops 3 champs, Envy. Man, I do not remember. If I could look up Black Ops 3 maps, that's what I'll go with that.
Okay, I mean, it was, you know, you're in the right ballpark for sure, but unfortunately, it's IW, not AW, and this was the legendary comeback at COD Champs in Infinite Warfare. Envy v E United, when Envy was down 10-0 in the second half on Precinct Uplink.
Yes.
And they made the insane comeback, and they did the listen in for like 4 straight minutes at the end of the game. And they made the comeback during the uplink in Champs, which was absolutely insane.
Yeah, I remember this because I was a big United fan back then.
Yeah, you were.
We had it locked. I mean, 10. Yeah, I remember now.
It's crazy. So that was the moment. I'll give you I'll throw 50 points on the board for you there because you had the right game mode and then half the team. So I'll throw 50 points on the board for you there off the rip to get you on the leaderboards at the start. So with that said, we can head into our clip number 2. This is a video game trailer. We split it up into 2 parts, so part 1, part 2. If you guess it, part 1's really tough. You get double points, so you can rake in 300 points if you get it in like the really short part 1 clip. So it's a video game trailer that came out in the last 10 years or so at some point in that span, and we'll go from there. So here we go. Launch, let's get it.
All men dream, but not equally.
There you go. Is anything coming to mind with the voice, the vibe, the aura?
Yeah, it sounds like something you'd hear like I can hear the fire in the background. They had the violin thing in the back, which makes it more like medievalish. all men dream, but not the same, or is that what it said?
Not equally, yeah.
Not equally.
Yeah, so
I'm trying to
generally
think.
this will
It's
be from
gotta
like
be an
a
RPG.
this will be from a generally popular video game over the past like decade or so. If you don't have a guess, we can just rock on the step the part 2. That's totally fine.
All right, I'll just go Far Cry.
It's not Far Cry. It's not Far Cry, but I do like the guess.
Okay.
So here we go. We'll go into part 2. It's a little bit longer, and hopefully we can get the game now.
In the dusty recesses of their minds, wake in the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible.
Uh-huh. Well, that's all real pretty, but what the hell's it mean in English?
There you go. Anything coming to mind from that, man?
What? No. I mean, it started hearing World of Warcraft vibes in there.
Yeah.
Is what I was getting. Sing that again in English. Like the voice of it sounds Call of Duty.
I imagine it sounds familiar, but you know, it's not the easiest of games, I'd say.
We'll go Call of Duty Ghost.
It is not Call of Duty Ghost. That was Uncharted. Specifically 3, but I would have accepted any Uncharted. If you would have said Uncharted, I would have accepted it.
I haven't played any of the Uncharted.
Yeah, I know you're more of an Xbox guy, so like that was kind of a tough one. One of the best games of all time, 100%. Definitely goated for me. And so that's kind of we go from there. So with that said, we can kind of head into our first topic, which is your background and love of esports. Pretty straightforward.
Okay.
So let's talk about the people about your like interest in esports and Call of Duty and how your fandom originally and then turning out into now like doing the podcast and talking and chilling and having a good time doing that.
Okay. So I guess my journey really began when I got my first Xbox 360.
Nice.
And I got Halo 3. And at that point, my soul and my being was involved in Halo 3 for the longest time.
Yeah.
And I never really explored the competitive side of Halo during that time. But like, you know, I was joining clans. I can even name off gamer tags that AK Silent Tom, shout out if you ever watched this. I want to talk to you again. Intense Skater, another person.
Yeah.
Squad, Sniper Force, like all those names. Those are real players that I played with like every day. We played Halo. We were part of this clan.
Right.
Then from there, at some point, things started like my teammate, like my clanmate, whatever squad, started moving over to Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which is where I
COD
sort
4.
of like, you know, I was like, yeah, COD 4. It's like, all right, I'll go play that too. Started playing that a little bit with them. Then eventually some friends from school were playing that. And during this time, you know, I think it was Team Tactical was the game mode in Call of Duty 4.
Okay, yeah.
And so it was like, and that was the way, I think it was like what, 3v3 or 4v4 or something with that. And so it was like, oh man, this is what the competitive stuff is. And I really had no recollection. I just liked it. It was like the more competitive thing to do. And so once that happened and I got into Team Tactical, wanted to be good at it, that's when I found pro players, MLG.TV, found game battles, which I didn't do the game battles because the website was so just like obscure and I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, it was terrible.
But that's where I kind of started. I saw clips. I remember seeing like Clayster, and then from Modern Warfare you go into was it Black Ops or Modern Warfare 2? Yeah,
basically into like MW2 and then Black Ops 1 then MW2. Yeah,
so then Black Ops 1 hit, was playing that a lot. That's when I really started, I think, getting into it because I'm remembering names like JCap.
Yeah.
And I guess like that's really when my journey sort of started. Was I watched Black Ops 1 a lot, not really like knowing exactly what was happening, not having near as much knowledge as I have now, but it's something like I would tune into, you know, late at night when like, oh, nobody's on to play. I guess I'm gonna go to here and watch these people who are super, super good at this game.
Yeah.
Because these are like the pro guys, you know, and what, so I guess that's around that time when I really started getting into it.
That's sick.
Yeah, but then like you had my spurts where like I'd wave in and out of the competitive scene. of like how much I was into it, but that would probably be where my start began.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because then, you know what, by AW, you were really into it, and then
AW was super into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess for the people, we went to high school together, or like school together for basically our whole lives. So like that's kind of how like we knew each other growing up. And then, but we didn't really start playing COD together till end of AW BO3 times is when we really started playing COD together.
Right. Well, because you were on PlayStation, I was on Xbox.
Yeah.
And
that was problem one.
Like, I mean, I don't know. I like already had my crew that I was sort of already playing with, and you had your crew.
Yeah.
And then eventually things started having a crossover.
Yeah, with PS4 and everything too. Yeah, I think that's a big part of
eventually
it.
I got the PS4 and you were doing your whole YouTube thing. And then once like some friends started falling off, I was like, okay, well, I got, I want to find some other people to keep playing with.
Yeah.
So then that's when I got rid of the Xbox, got the PlayStation, and here we are.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. So what was like the first in your head, like what was the first like big event that you were like, yo, this event's insane? Like what's the first in your head, like the event that you really remember like sitting down and like watching?
I think I'd probably have to say it has to be an Advanced Warfare, probably.
Yeah, like the first memorable big event.
Is like when I like had more of an idea of like brackets and like how that worked and like the Alpha, Bravo, all those streams.
Yeah, for sure.
And I feel like Advanced Warfare is when it really started, like they added skins into the game, or Denial skin at least. And and so I think that's when I like the champs for it was like, I was like, this is it. Like this is like the, the Super Bowl of COD here.
Yeah.
And that's when I think I was really like, I'd order a pizza, sit down and, watch it.
That's sick. No, I love that. I know. I mean, that was the thing for me is that was also weird timing for us because I watched like every event at the end of BO2 and then into Ghosts. Like, I didn't miss an event, but then Nadeshot retired in AW. So I kind of stopped watching like really religiously for the rest of the year. And then I got back into just COD as a whole back in BO3 again. And so like the only little second half of AW was the only time where I didn't like watch like all the events. And so like that was just the weird timing for us like competitively too, because I also got really into FIFA 15 that year and like was grinding FIFA that year. So that's like the only span of like 4 months where I really haven't watched COD since the end of BO2.
The only COD I really didn't watch, I think, like I just like it's like Ghost, honestly. Like so like I mean I watched events I think from every COD since at least Black Ops 1. And I feel like I have recollections of things happening in Modern Warfare 2 as well, but very vague.
Yeah.
But that like, Ghost was one I never really was super into the competitive scene of it, even though I know it was like a big one for a lot of people. Wasn't for me.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I know. I'm just looking forward to seeing what we can do with the podcast moving forward and how we have a lot of fun plans, and hopefully we can keep leveling up a little bit and capitalizing on the growth of the scene, and hopefully the scene continues to grow and we can level this thing up and climb the ladders a little bit, baby, and make it happen. But it should be a good time, man. So 100%. So with that said, I think we can head into our Name That Part 2 and go through our last few things here. So off the rip, we've got a gun from COD history, which you got to be able to guess here, and we'll throw it back here. So first off, a gun. You can get 50 points for naming the game, 100 points for naming the gun. So here we go. Let's roll it.
Hard point identified.
There you go.
Man, what is with that breathing in that clip? Like,
I know, what is
I'm
that
really
breathing?
paying attention to that. It sounds like a sniper. It sounds more of it, like it seems Black Ops 3 feels like it might be too new. It like has like, it sounds like a sniper is being shot. Hey, I'm gonna go Advanced Warfare and some sort of sniper. I don't know the snipers.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, it was not Advanced Warfare.
What?
No. That
Black
was
Ops 3?
That was Black Ops 2. And that was the ballista from Black Ops 2.
Oh
man.
That breathing thing, I twisted it. I started thinking That was the jetpack.
Oh no, yeah, that
'Cause
was
remember
somebody.
the
That was somebody
jetpack?
holding their breath while they're sniping.
Yeah.
Yeah. In
But the
BO2
jetpacks in Advanced Warfare had that like
oh, the sound. Oh, for sure.
when you
for
do
sure.
things. That's what I was getting.
Yeah. No, it's all good. I mean, again, this game is by no means easy, and based off the scores, all the guests, it's not easy so far. But that is all good. We're still rocking and rolling with more to go. We've
I
got.
was thinking Black Ops 2 also. I was like, it's older, it's got to be around. But
It's all good.
man.
This one is a COD personality. So this is going to be a COD pro or owner or whatever, someone in the COD scene. And again, this is split into parts again. So you get 300 points off the really short first part of the clip, and then 150 on this next part of the clip if you can rock it and roll it there. So let's see what you get here, and let's roll it.
Kind of 1-1. There's no really like we're better than them or like they're better than us kind of deal.
And that's it.
Well, that's so. What am I supposed to get? It's gunless.
You're guessing. Oh, yeah, that's all you gotta get. Bang! That's 300 points on the board for old ShadyNero.
Oh,
Let's
nuts.
go, baby. That is actually the first time someone's guessed the personality right.
Really?
So,
I feel like that was
yeah.
an easy one.
Yeah, because I think we've had a Pristini, we've had Apathy, we've had a few others, but Accuracy. But yeah, that's the first one there.
I feel like I could get a lot of the people's voices right.
Well, bang, there you go. You're on the board with 300. Oh my goodness. Let's go, baby. So that's pretty exciting. That was an interview from Gunless from last year during Modern Warfare, at the kickoff event of Modern Warfare, actually. So bang, you're right in this thing now, baby. Things you absolutely love to see.
Give me more voice ones. Give me more voice ones.
And with that said, we're going into another moment from COD history here. So without further ado, let's roll it.
Shot with the kill. 3 versus 3. Time is ticking. Oh, Sensor! He's just going to kill a bubble game by a second. Sensor! Unbelievable play. Valley's nature. 1 on 3. He's going to get the kill though. 29 seconds left. Bomb down. Can he stay alive? Nature, no!
There you go. There it is.
So what am I guessing here?
You got to guess the game, the event, the names of both teams, and then describe the play and the importance of the play or whatever to as close as you can.
Okay. Well, this is Advanced Warfare.
All right, bang, points on the board.
So, can we play it again?
Yes, I can play it one more time here. Boom.
Kill. 3 versus 3. Time is ticking. Oh, Sensor! He's just going to kill a bubble game by a second. Sensor! Unbelievable play. Valley's nature. 1 on 3. He's going to get the kill though. 29 seconds left. Bomb down. Can he stay alive? Nature, no!
There you go, bang. So there are quite a few names in there.
Yeah, I mean Optic.
Okay, yep, you got the nade shot part there.
Sensor. What team was Sensor on?
Yeah, Sensor v nade shot in this specific thing here.
It's Advanced Warfare.
It is Advanced Warfare.
Optic versus what teams were Sensor on? Sensor's been on Complexity at one point. Phase. It's probably Phase. Optic versus Phase.
Bang, you got the
Advanced
Phase team. Let's
Warfare.
go. All right, now you got 100 points. Can you get the event and
the event
what's the play or like what's happening in the play?
We'll call it MLG Anaheim, and then Nade Shot clutches the kill on Sensor, and that's what it was. Grand Finals, MLG Anaheim.
Really good moment there. No, so it was a round 10 clutch on recovery. Phase beats Optic and its Sensors win, coming from the losers bracket there.
Dang it.
It's Sensor, Slasher, Aches, and Apathy versus the Optic Dynasty pre Karma. So with Nade Shot.
Yep.
And it was at CWL Columbus at the beginning of AW. So there you go. You got 100 points on the board from that one as well. So you are rocking and rolling here with a total of 450 points. So that actually ties you right up there with Easy Mac, tied at 450. He got there in a way different way than you did, but you were right there with it. That's the end of the game right there.
I'm surprised no one can get the voices. I feel like I could get them all.
I know.
I really think I could get them all.
I know. It's tough. But here we go. So now is our main course of the evening. Is our topic here with Huke and Slasher, of course, getting benched by LT. This was the breaking news of today. As we were recording, we were about to record, we were gonna do something else, and then bang, Huke and Slasher are benched,
man.
or Drazah and Venom are benched, and Huke and Slasher are back in. And so here we are talking about it. So obviously, Huke also dropped a video about kind of his breakup with the Dallas Empire and his situation with Adderall usage as well. So I don't know, what were your thoughts on the whole situation? And then we can talk about the impact of the roster change too.
I mean, the COD scene is always so weird. Every year, there's just the
It's
weirdest drama and stuff that goes down. I mean, I think it was really fascinating that all of a sudden 100 Thieves is now putting Slasher and Huke back in the roster, benching Drazah and Venom, and people were talking kind of highly of Drazah. Like, he was playing really well. There was Venom that I think people were kind of split. Some people were like, he's doing well, he's playing for the team, yada yada. Some people were like, he's not doing anything. And I mean, honestly, we look at TJ in the past, from what coming back, and even before, like, he hasn't really shown a lot of greatness. So
He's just been solid. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been solid at times, but he also has, I feel like, not been great at times. So I feel like that was really weird for that to happen, especially for Huke. And then now they're putting Huke Slasher in.
Yeah, I mean, it comes off like a LAN move, you know, with literally LAN being 2 weeks away and bringing the veterans back into it.
Really gonna make, like, LAN makes a difference, sure.
Yeah.
But like, it's like they imagine all of a sudden, well, it's LAN, we better put Slasher in now since it's LAN. It's like, how does this? I don't see a huge drastic change, but when you look at the roster with who's on it, I feel better about them, oddly enough. It's weird feeling because, like, they weren't playing great before with Slasher, and now they put him back on and they put Huke with it, and you're like, all of a sudden, this team just starts to make sense again.
Right. I mean, it's crazy that we're getting back to square one here, where you heading into the year, you're like, who's gonna join this team with Slasher, Kenny, and Tej? It ended up being Temp, and then obviously after all of this, you end up with Huke now in there, which is just crazy at the end of the day. I mean, do you think that? I mean, at least it comes off to me like this is gonna be the team that they play champs with. That
Probably.
At this point, they're not changing after this. You bring Slasher back, and you're gonna try to make it work with how he develops his teams, and with Kenny and Tej now bringing in Huke back. Like, you know, I think you stick with this team heading into champs over the next, 6 weeks or 8 weeks.
Right. I mean, they cannot make more roster changes. Like,
no. It's crazy. This is the 22nd roster change of the CDL season. I counted them up today because I was like, this is insane.
There's too many roster changes. Too many. It's too easy for it to happen. Like, there needs to be more of I feel like a penalty or something for making these roster changes so much. Yeah,
it's nuts. It really is. And we definitely talked about that on the podcast for sure. But I don't know. I mean, like, as a whole with the LA Thieves team, then do you think like this makes them better? Because this my initial instinct is that in the short term, it's going to be a little bit of a rocky road figuring out like the situation, bringing Slasher back in again. But then if you stick with the team, like heading into champs, at least I'm pretty confident that they could be a pretty freaking great team by August.
I mean, that's what we were thinking of Optic last year, though. Like the California Optic last year, where everyone had really high hopes, like they were going to be a good squad, but they ended up, I mean, in champs, they kind of showed up, but like other than that, like just have been mediocre. LA Thieves is just very reminiscent of that same sort of thing, I feel like.
But now you've got Slasher on a main AR. You've got Kenny running the second AR. You'll have Huke and Tej on SMGs. I think that could work. I mean, on paper, that sounds freaking great.
It does. It does sound great on paper, but we'll see how it plays out because it didn't. I mean, I guess Huke and Temp are different players, obviously. But
yeah, very.
I think they do get better from this.
Yeah,
and
it's
I
weird.
think if the passion and drive is really there, maybe they could make a run at champs.
Yeah, I mean, this team's probably got their eyes completely set on champs at this point. I mean, obviously LAN matters, but I'd imagine they're going to see it more like practice for LAN or for champs or whatever too.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time that Huke played with Slasher was during World War II before the Seattle Open. So they played at the Stage 1 playoffs together. That was the Slasher Huke Temp Classic team before they broke up at the end of the year. So they broke up in April of that year and made it happen. Obviously, they had like iffy success that year. I think their best placing looks like top 4 that year. So I don't know. I mean, I still think that this team could be really, really good, but they're at this point the CWL is so competitive, or the CDL is so competitive that like, can you get to the point where you're a top 4 team with Optic, or top 5 team with Florida, Optic, Toronto, New York, and FaZe? You know, it's hard to imagine they get that much better, but I don't know where you at with that.
Right, that's exactly it. It's like there's so much competition for them, and since I think we sort of saw this already, like Huke is the only person really that is like, is Huke gonna really be able to change the dynamic of how that team is functioning? And he very well could, because Huke has that sort of unique personality, I feel like, in COD. Like he's gonna be more willing to try and make things work. He's very much like a pacifist, tries to make peace wherever he can. And so everything is smooth rolling like that, which could be really big for this squad. I feel bad for Venom and Drazah, because they weren't Drazah, like they just were not playing bad. And for them just to get knocked out like that is just kind of like
really sucks.
Weird.
Especially heading into LAN where you don't even get to see these guys on LAN as a squad, you know? Now, you know, Drazah has been benched twice now during online COD, and he got his chance twice during online COD.
With
so that
the
just
same,
really sucks.
basically the same team.
Yeah, that sucks. That sucks really bad. Oh man. It's just not ideal. I think they can be. They have potential for top 4. I just don't. It's hard to put your money on it at this point. I would imagine they'll still be the 6th best team for a while, or right around there. But you know, that's kind of where I'm at. So let's talk real quick about the Dallas situation too, then, because obviously Huke was talking about his little breakup with Dallas, and he said there was a lot of problems like internally with Dallas, and how the feedback loop and their communication as a roster and addressing the issues this year. And I mean, basically, he was just calling out Crim without calling out Crim. I mean, right? He said, I'm not going to name any names, but then he was literally just before that talking about how good of a relationship he had with Illy and Shotzi.
Right.
And then, you know, the only player that was never mentioned in this video was Crim, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know where you're at.
I actually didn't even quite notice that, but they say that kind of makes sense. I mean, and plus Crim seems like the only person who would kind of do something like that. Although,
right.
I mean, how did he call out Crim? He's like, I guess I'm not sure what, like, I know he didn't feel like he was being heard by the team, and you have to imagine Crimsix is sort of the dictator of all that, of what's going on over there.
The decision
very
maker
much a
or whatever.
Strong personality when it comes to that stuff. Why I worked before, because he had Clayster with Crimsix, you know, and Clayster's not gonna be one that's gonna be easily bullied around by someone like Crimsix.
And he's kind of for the boys. I think he has like everybody's interest kind of at mind too. Like,
exactly. Clayster understands, I think, the mental aspect of it, like I guess the emotional mental aspect of things.
Yeah, like the relational aspect of the team.
Right. And I think Clayster has a better understanding of that than maybe what Crimsix has. I think Crimsix sees this as like, you know, like a Navy SEAL. Get in.
It's black and white. This is what needs to happen.
Get out.
Do it. Yeah.
Which, like, there is something to be said about a mindset like that. But, you know, when you're playing COD like this, sometimes like you just need to have the vibes. We always, you know, have the
especially
energy
with
to keep
like
it going.
softer spoken guys like Shotzi, Huke, and Illy.
Yeah.
Like, who are definitely just a little bit quieter, like in that sense, like in the environments like that. I'd imagine like in a feedback setting, those 3 guys are probably a little bit quieter.
Right.
know?
Well, that sort of that mindset too sort of takes the fun away from the game, which I think the people who have the most fun with the game are the ones who are going to be more successful with the game.
Yeah, there's kind of like both aspects to it. Like, you need to be good to have fun, but you also need to have fun to be good.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah.
And so like it's weird too, because like last year we saw Dallas, like they would be playing random tournaments together. They would be just like going and playing, you know, UMG matches or wagers together, doing 2v2s, 3v3s. Like they're just playing together all the time. But that just didn't happen like at all this year. It just seemed like they did the beginning tournament thing and it was very quiet about it, which it was people were paying attention to it way more last year than they did this year.
Yeah.
Like they just did not, I don't know, like their team chemistry kind of just like went down the drain once Clayster left.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely comes down, there's like all those like small dynamics. Obviously, Huke also talked about his Adderall usage, and that he basically felt like it was really making him a worse person, and he he stopped it because it was spiraling in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said that because of like the positive changes, there was a rumor that started that he was like on psychedelics, and that's kind of like the situation that happened here between like Dallas and LA Thieves.
That's the thing.
Some wild, weird stuff.
What I think is like the weirdest obscure rumor to start throwing out. Like,
right. Like, did Crim start that? I don't know. I mean, who started it?
Maybe, and I have a feeling, you know, I'm just, you know, just speculating. I have a feeling it's a personality that like Crim would say something like that, and it's not meant to be taken so seriously. It's like, because like the way Huke's personality is, he's very chilled out and very like zened, it feels like sometimes. And the way he speaks is very soft. He seems like he's just zened out. And so people maybe can interpret that he's maybe lost in his own world or whatever it is. Which I think maybe that could be a sign of.
But he's literally just chilling. It's hard to say who actually started it, obviously, but like at the end of the day, he said that a good friend of his in the scenes let him know that this rumor was going on, and then he addressed it.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that the LA Thieves guys bought into the rumor. Like, that's weird too. Like, if that had anything to do with his benching in the first place, like that's pretty whack.
Well, here's the thing. You can tell when someone's on psychedelics.
Yeah,
like,
that's what's weird.
So like how, I guess personality wise, there must be something about Huke that these guys don't quite understand. To me, it doesn't seem like Huke was ever on psychedelics. I will say this though, watching some scrims, maybe like this happened last year. I don't know when he said he stopped whatever, smoking or whatever. There
Adderall.
are times when he's watching eights or whatever. I'm like, this guy is definitely high right now. Like smoking weed or something. I mean, that's
but he
like,
said he didn't smoke.
Exactly. So like maybe that's just his personality. But like I definitely have had that interpretation of him, like when I'm watching a stream.
That is interesting.
Of like they're playing eights or I think it was during the off season, they were playing Advanced Warfare. It was on Temp's stream. And Huke was playing on his team. Or maybe it was Black Ops 4, not Advanced Warfare. They were playing. Either way, they're playing wagers or something. And Huke, it just felt like, because Huke wasn't really playing that well. He was giggly and he just kind of seemed out of it. Maybe it was high, maybe it wasn't, but it didn't seem like psychedelic sort of high. It seemed like a weed high.
Yeah.
But either way, speculating, guys. No idea if that's what he's doing. I could just be, vomiting here. But so like this idea of he's doing psychedelics, like how do you even believe a rumor like that when like it just psychedelics just does way more than what we were seeing with him.
Yeah. And so it's just crazy that wasn't the case at all, and we'll see what happens. I saw that CDL Intel tweeted about pros approaching the CDL for potential drug testing about certain things like this too. So that probably would be a good step in the right direction to help the pro scene as a whole as well. But it's a pretty crazy situation. We'll definitely talk more about this like on the podcast next week as well. So we don't need to go in too many circles, but that was the big news of the day. I mean, at the end of the day, where do you see LA Thieves moving forward now with this team? Are they top 5? Can they knock like Florida out, Optic out, Toronto? Like which teams could they threaten?
Could knock Optic out.
Okay.
They're either going to be like a top 6 team, or they're going to be like, they're going to either have like their amazing stint where they're just they're just this great team that's winning.
Yeah.
I don't see them having a longer run like FaZe, where FaZe just been dominant this whole game.
Right, where they pull where LA Thieves pulls out the right strats for an event and they make the run, they win it.
Yeah,
like that type of thing could happen.
That's very LA Thieves-esque, and I can see something like that happening. But in the long term, like if they were to play with the squad 2 more years down the line, I don't see that being maintainable.
That's fair. Yeah, I see them as like they're definitely they're going to be a solid mainstay top 6 team now at this point for sure. But the question is, can they really get over that hump? They're in a very similar spot to Optic right now, probably, where where can they just get over that hump and beat the top 2-3 teams on a consistent basis? It's gonna be hard to see for me for that, like that regard. So it'll be fun though. Looking forward to this one.
If I'm that LA Thieves team, I feel like a thing like you know, I have a problem with teams who are not near that number one phase spot, right? And they're just like, we want to win champs. So they're constantly making roster changes to try and be like a first place team. When it's like, I mean, I think Ravens was a good example. It's like, you guys were on the upswing here. You weren't going to be winning champs anytime soon, but your team was improving and they were getting better and climbing up the ranks. And then all of a sudden you make this change. And I don't know if this change is because we want to be first place at champs. It's like, have realistic set goals of like, okay, we're top 6 right now. We want to be a team that consistently is better than Optic. All right. Once we start doing
top
that,
4, you know?
Let's start playing for top 4 and then like have realistic expectations, and you're constantly improving that way rather than just like full sending and being like first place team. That's all we are. It's like,
and Huke was really doubling down in his video about like the grind of improving with the same squad. And he really believed in that. About feedback, communication, improving as a squad of 4 with guys that you believe in and who communicate well. So that seemed like a really important value to him. So I'll be really interested to see how this LA Thieves team continues to develop over the next, 2.5 months or so leading into champs.
Yeah. And this LA Thieves team, based on the players on it, feels like that could be more of their mindset now.
Yeah, I agree.
But just so many roster changes. That's what makes me question some of these teams. It's like, if you're Seattle, don't be aiming, be aiming for, we want to be a top 10 team next. We want to be a top 8 team after that. Like, gradually move yourselves up, but
for sure.
Maybe they are and they're just not working, but it just doesn't feel like it is sometimes.
No, the other small piece of news that happened yesterday too was the whole Formal v Crim, like absolute tweet war that happened yesterday. Things you absolutely to see when it comes to creating drama for this year, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, obviously there's just bad blood there about it all. Like, I don't get it because it does feel like
how's the water not under the bridge yet?
Well, because they keep Optic.
It's so weird.
Feels like they have this sense that they're just better than everybody else. And I feel like that's what rubs Crim the wrong way. So like, it's just the way Formal was so casually able to get drop Crimsix when like they know there's already this drama involved with it all. And like, and maybe it's honest. It honestly could be honest coming from Formal, but just who Optic is, being the brand that they are, saying things like that is gonna get people mad because it's like you're abusing, like you already have this platform and you're just beating up smaller people.
Right.
It just seems like bully behavior.
For sure. I mean, are you for sure taking this as real beef? Like this wasn't like some sort of like Twitter stunt type play, like a more trolly? I don't know. I think it's real beef though, right?
I think it's real beef. I mean, they might pretend it's trolly, but it's not. Like, there's definitely some underlying animosity there.
Yeah. Because I mean, like, Crim pulled out the whole failed to split the MVP payment back in the day, and then like it was just so wild that it escalated so fast from like a kind of trolly joke where I thought in the video Formal was just kind of literally full on trolling, and then it just escalated so quickly into like Crim insulting Formal, then Formal saying that his championship was like a fake championship last year. And
man, I hate that, but
I know
people believe it.
Oh, for sure. The Optic fans are for sure going to believe it. At the end of the day, all teams are competing on the same playing field. Well, although you could argue that last year, considering that all the teams were in Dallas and that Dallas was in Dallas, so they have an advantage because of the connection. Like, I could see the argument, but at the same time, like, there were decent amounts of like servers. I don't know. Anyway, you could debate the whole whether or not last year was fair or not argument, but at the end of the day, I think this is some real beef heading into LAN in 2 weeks, which will be fun.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, I mean, whatever. It's good content, honestly. Like, keep causing the drama, gets people more involved with it. Now we have a blood match whenever Empire and Optic play each other, so that's gonna be hype.
Yeah.
So
Dallas is Crim has fully embraced. It's just so ironic that they're the Empire and they're literally the villains. Like
I know, and I like
Crim
the
is
Empire.
full on the villain now in the CDL. I mean, he is literally the Aches roll of like, you know, BO2 Ghost AW times.
Yeah, but I don't know if he cares. Like, to
No,
be honest,
he
I
doesn't.
think he's just like, I'm just gonna do. He's just being real and just being himself about it.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
Yeah.
this is what it is.
And he's the defending champions. That is tough. You know, like at the
And
end
the
of
most
the day,
winningest player, like all that.
of all time. Yeah. So there's a lot of things going for Crim. That's what makes it pretty fun. Hopefully this drives viewership for the CDL. That's all that really matters at the end of the day.
And
So
you know the thing that grinds my gears too is this whole idea of how they're like, because in Formal in his reply, I was talking to Crimsix about like, you know, you were, you know, carried by Zio and then Pat fathered you and Sam fathered you with these other championship wins. And it's like, you're talking to the most winningest player. It's like, clearly he's doing something right. It's the same sort of story with Clayster where like Clayster just gets carried by these other god players and that's it. It's like, well, they keep winning. They're the ones that are winning. He has more wins than the other people who are quote unquote better.
right. I mean,
So like, how do you even? It's
in
like
Formal's
he's
head,
doing something
obviously,
right.
in Formal's head, Formal deserves more credit for Optic's success than Crim does, right? That's kind of this beef would not happen if that wasn't the
Maybe.
case. Both of them think that they themselves deserve more credit for the success of Optic Dynasty than the other does,
Possibly.
which is pretty juicy when you boil it down to that. I mean, at the end of the day. But it'll be fun, man. I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see what happens. Obviously, we'll be talking so much more about the Optic and Empire stuff moving forward in the next few weeks. So, well, this has been 1v1 me, bro. Rex, before we finish, though, we get to roll out the red carpet for you. Plug whatever you want. What do you got going on? The Twitch streams, the Twitters.
Right.
What do you got going on?
All right, yeah. Follow me on Twitter. It is ShadyNero on Twitter.
Yes, sir.
Follow my Twitch. It's ShadyNero on Twitch.
Heck
all
yeah.
together, one word.
And the best podcast in the lands.
And also, yeah, the Best of 3 podcast on YouTube. Check it out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. SalvationsElite's YouTube.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, and
Well,
might as well
boys.
subscribe to my YouTube as well.
Amen. ShadyNero on YouTube. He posts once in a while. It's a good time. So you should go check it out for sure. The streams, though, he's been on the grind. He's optimizing. He's doing it all. So go support the man, ShadyNero, and give him a follow. So guys, this has been real. We will definitely be having Bash on this as well very soon too. So be on the lookout for that one and more 1v1 me bro episodes coming down the pipeline. We should have some pretty fun guests moving forward too. So I'm looking forward to it. But it's been real, guys. I really do appreciate you guys tuning in for the 4th episode of 1v1 me bro. If you guys enjoyed it, like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you guys really enjoyed it. And as always, we will be back with an episode next time. We out.